Hello. In this video, I'm going to talk about how you can take a map from a Piezo PDF scenario and easily put it into your Foundry instance so that all the grid lines line up, and it only just takes a few minutes to get it done. For this demonstration, I'm using two tools. I'm using SumatraPDF, which is a free PDF reader that's very lightweight that I like using, and the GNU image manipulation program, also a free program that you can use to manipulate images. It's very close to Photoshop in terms of functionality, but it's free and open source, which is nice. We're going to be working on this map right here, the Starfinder Flip Map Hospital in Starfinder Society Scenario Secrets and Stillness, since I'm running this here pretty soon. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that we do is we have these open side by side. We right click on the image and we do copy image. And the reason we do this instead of a screenshot is that this will pull the map layer without pulling things like the name and the PC start here and things like that. So I'll go ahead and full screen this. So now looking at this map, we want to get it to a point where it has exact numbers of squares. And so if you look closely here, you can actually see that there's cutoff squares. These are a little bit wider than these. See, this is clearly a cutoff square. So we want to fix this. So we're going to click the crop tool here and hold control and mouse wheel up to zoom in. And we're just going to start a crop. Just like that. You can start anywhere. And we'll expand it, and then we will expand it. And then on each side, we'll zoom in, and we're going to grab this little yellow box that appears with the crop tool, and we're going to line it up right in the middle of that line. And we're going to do that at the top, right there. Go all the way to the bottom, do the same thing. And then go all the way over here and do the same thing. And then we'll press enter. And then we'll hold control and mouse wheel down to zoom out and center this. And there we go. So now the map has an exact number of squares wide and an exact number of squares tall. The next thing we want to do is we want to make these squares a uniform size. In my case, I like to use 50 pixels per inch when I run my Foundry games because I just like that skill. So what you do is you go to image and you do scale image. You make sure this drop down is set to pixels per inch specifically and set it to 50. You can also do 100 or even 150 if you would like. You just have to do the math that I'm about to talk about. So since we have 50 pixels per inch, and we want each square to be 1 inch squares, all I do is multiply. I counted ahead of time, and this is 22 squares wide. So I'm going to set the width to 1100 and hit tab. And now you'll see that the height, since it's locked here, will also adjust accordingly. This is very, very close to a multiple of 50. Sometimes it'll be a pixel or two off. It's no big deal. I find you can be within about 10 to even 15 pixels and still have a reasonably good map. So once I've selected those values, I click scale. And now this map is ready to go for Foundry. We just need to save it. So we go File, Export As. Don't click Save. Save saves a project file if you want to like work on a long-term project. We want the actual image. So we're going to export it. I'm going to call this at the very top up here, hospital.png. I like to use PNGs. And I have a folder here somewhere for my Secrets and Stillness assets on my local computer. So this is me currently exporting the image to my local computer. So we'll go ahead and hit export. You can leave these as default and just go ahead and click export. It'll take a second. And there we go. So we can open this up and we can see that my image is here ready to go for Foundry. So let's open up our Foundry instance. So here's my Secrets and Stillness game. If you're familiar with Foundry, the next few steps will be fairly straightforward. We're going to create a scene. We're going to call it Hospital. We are going to set the background image to that. I have a folder here that I want to save this in. There it is. So just like normal in Foundry, you just navigate to your folder where you save this image, and it'll upload it, and you can hit select. And I've set this as the background image. I'm going to turn off lighting so we can easily see what's going on the map when we load it. And now on the grid, it's very important that you set your grid size to whatever pixels per inch you selected. So if you do 100, you can just leave it as 100. I did 50, so I'm going to set it to 50. And we'll hit Save Changes and hit Yes. And there we go. So now it's loaded in Foundry. And you can see, very obviously, that the grid lines are perfectly lined up Something I can even show you, if we go to configure, we can click this button right here. And you can see these red lines are exactly where they need to be, and line up perfectly. And that's it. That is the easy way to load maps into Foundry in just a few minutes. This takes a little bit of practice the first couple of times, but once you do it, you'll be able to figure it out very quickly. Thank you for watching, and I hope this helps you in your games.